Welcome to Saxon Math Course 3, Lesson 107, Volume and Surface Area of Compound Solids. Now, a compound solid is a 3D shape made up of other shapes. If we want to find the volume of a compound solid, what we're going to do is we're going to break down the shape into the shapes we know the volume formula for. So if you see a weird shape, but you can see that it's made up of shapes that you recognize, you can break each individual shape off. Then you find the volume of each shape that makes up the larger shape, and then once you've found all of those volumes, you just add them all together. That'll give you your final volume. When you're finding the surface area, you're going to want to do similar steps. You're going to want to break it down into its component shape and find the areas of each side of the component shapes. But you're going to have to be very careful to subtract any sides that would touch each other, because if you include those in the surface area, you're going to get a wrong answer, because in the original shape, sides that were touching each other were not sides on the outside of the original shape. So, example 1 shows a desk with dimensions in inches. It asks us to convert to feet and then calculate the exposed surface area, excluding the part of the desk that rests on the floor. So that means we're not looking at the bottom of the legs of the desk, but we are looking at all the way around the legs of the desk, all the way around the legs of the desk, the side of the top, the side, the back of the top, the bottom of the top, except for where the top touches the legs. So, first off, let's convert to inches. 60 inches is 5 feet. 30 inches is going to be 2.5 feet, but we should make sure that we're noticing that there is a gap between the leg and the top of the desk itself. So I'm actually going to make a little line here. I'm going to say this is 0.5 feet and then 2 feet. That way our legs have a length of 2 feet. Now 30 inches is 2.5 feet. 18 inches is 1.5 feet. So we've converted our dimensions into feet. So now our next step is to break it into its component parts. Now we can see where we'd be making this break right along this line here and here, where we'd have the top shape, which is a rectangular prism, and then 2 rectangular prism legs. Now, broken into their individual pieces, it would look something like this. Now, it's important that when we're finding the volumes of the shapes don't overlap at all. But when we're finding the surface areas will. Remember that we won't count the top or the bottom of the legs, or the space where the top of the legs would connect on the bottom of the rectangular prism. So we don't count that in our surface area. But first, let's find the volume. Now, the volume is going to be the top times the leg volume times 2. Now, the volume of the top is going to be 5 times 0.5 times 2.5. The leg volume is going to be 2 times 2.5 times 1.5. Now, 0.5 times 5 is 2.5, so this is actually going to be 2.5 times 2.5, which will give us an answer similar to 25 squared, but with 2 digits after the decimal place. 25 squared is 625, so that means 2.5 times 2.5 is 6.25. 2.5 times 1.5 times 2, well, 1.5 times 2 is 3, and 2.5 times 3 is 7.5. This will give us 6.25 plus 2 times 7.5 2 times 7.5 is 15, which will give us a final answer of 21.25 cubic feet for our volume. Now, to find our surface area, we need the top surface area minus the top of the legs, which will be this portion here. So cutting this portion off of the surface area of the top, plus the outside of the legs, so the wraparound, the lateral area of the legs. Now, the top of the shape is going to be 5 times 2.5, which will be the top and the bottom here. 5 times 2.5, it would give us the two bottoms. So there are two of those, plus the perimeter of the base times the height. 5 plus 5 is 10. 2.5 plus 2.5 is 5. So you're going to have 10 plus 5, which is 15. So 15 times 0.5. Now, 5 times 2.5 times 2 is going to be 32.5 for the total top surface area. The area that is touching the legs is going to be at 7.5 from this part here. 3 times 2.5, still 7.5, just like up here. And the outside of the legs, 2 times 2 times 3 plus 5. That's going to give us 32. Now, if we subtract 7.5 from 32.5, that'll give you 25. And 25 plus 32 is 57 square feet. That's going to be the surface area for this desk. Notice we've found the total surface area of the top of the desk and subtracted the top of the legs where they touch the top of the desk. Then we found the lateral area. We only found the lateral area of the legs because we were told in the problem to exclude the part where the legs touch the floor, and we have to exclude the top part because that's what's touching the desk. So we just find the lateral area to add on. All right, this has been lesson 107. Remember, your steps are to take the compound shape and break it into shapes you know, and then just find the volume and surface area of the shapes using the formulas you've already learned, and then add them all together. Stay safe, stay inside, and wash your hands.